Welcome back to Miss B Biology. This is part 3 of our series of lessons where we will work through common 4 to 6 marks biology questions so that when you go to your exams, you're a bit more confident in attempting them. So as usual, students, grab your book and grab your pen and let us begin. Question 1. Describe how insulin and glucagon help to control the blood sugar concentration in a healthy person. And this is for 6 marks. Alright students, so first of all you need to know that insulin and glucagon, these are the two hormones that are responsible for controlling your blood sugar concentration. What do I mean by control? Control means to keep it at a normal level. So if it goes above because of what you're eating, something needs to happen to bring it back down to normal. And say for example you're fasting, it means that your blood sugar concentration might be lower than normal. Something needs to happen in the body to bring it back up to normal. So let us look at the points. So let us talk about if it is above normal, if the blood sugar concentration is too high. So if the blood sugar concentration increases above normal, what happens? The pancreas detects the increase. What will the pancreas do about the increase? The pancreas releases insulin into the bloodstream. How does insulin fix the problem? Insulin allows glucose to move from the blood into the cells of the liver and is stored there as glycogen. And this will decrease the blood sugar concentration because remember, our problem was that it was too high. So everything that happened will cause it to decrease. All right. Let us now look at if the blood sugar is too low. If the blood sugar concentration decreases below normal, what happens? The same pancreas detects the decrease. What will the pancreas do about the decrease? The pancreas releases a different hormone now, and this one is called glucagon into the bloodstream. How does glucagon fix the problem? It allows for glycogen that was stored in the liver to be converted back to glucose and released into the blood. And this will increase the blood sugar concentration. Remember, the problem was that it was too low. And so breaking down the glycogen that was stored in the liver to glucose and release it into the bloodstream will cause the increase in the blood sugar concentration. Let us now put the points together so that if you were to get a question like this, you would know what to write. So students, remember you were instructed to describe how insulin and glucagon are used to control the blood sugar concentration. Alright, so first point is that if the blood sugar concentration increases above normal, the pancreas detects the increase and releases insulin into the bloodstream. This causes glucose to move from the blood into the cells of the liver and stored as glycogen, decreasing the blood sugar. If the blood sugar concentration decreases below normal, the pancreas detects the decrease and releases glucagon into the bloodstream. This causes glycogen stored in the liver cells to be converted back to glucose and released into the blood. This will increase the blood sugar concentration. So students, for both points, whether it is increase or decrease, students, you must mention the organ that detects the increase or the decrease. All right, and that is the pancreas. You must mention the name of the hormone that is released. So if it is too high, it is insulin that will be released. And if it is too low, it is glucagon. Then you need to go on now to describe what will happen when the hormones are released. All right, students, I hope that this is a bit clearer for you. Question 2. Describe how the process of IVF can result in pregnancy. All right, so first of all, students, IVF stands for in vitro fertilization, meaning fertilization is happening outside the woman's body. Why would this need to happen, though, students? Maybe the woman's fallopian tube or oviduct, maybe they're blocked or they're damaged, and so fertilization needs to take place in an artificial way, which is in a lab. All right, so let's get into the points. First of all, FSH is injected into the female. What is the function of FSH? FSH is used to stimulate egg maturation. LH is also injected into the female. What is the function of LH? LH is responsible for stimulating egg release or ovulation. The eggs are then collected. The eggs are fused with sperm cells in a lab. The fertilized eggs will divide by mitosis to form embryos. Will the embryos grow into a fetus in the lab? No. The embryos are inserted into the uterus of the female. So this is what you would write in your exam if you were to get a question like this. Describe how the process of IVF can result in pregnancy. So I'm going to be removing all of the extra points that I had on the previous slide so that you know exactly what to write for 4 marks. First point, FSH is injected into the female to stimulate egg maturation and LH to stimulate egg release or ovulation. The eggs are collected and fused with sperm cells in a lab. The fertilized eggs will divide by mitosis to form embryos. The embryos are then inserted into the uterus of the female. Question 3. Explain how natural selection occurs. The first thing we need to know is the definition for natural selection. Natural selection is a process by which a species changes over time in response to changes in the environment. All right, students, your command word is explained, so please make sure you are writing reasons or saying why something happened. All right, so point number 1 says variation exists between the organisms within a species. This is most likely as a result of mutation. All right, students, whenever you hear the word variation, you should be thinking about differences. So let us look at our species right here. We have a species of bacteria. Are you seeing variation? Yes, we are seeing variation. And remember, they say now that the variation is as a result of mutation. Mutation would occur within the DNA, students, right? Within the genes of the DNA of the bacteria. Point number 2. Those organisms that are most suited survive. Survive what? Let's go back to the definition of natural selection. Remember, it says the species changes in response to changes in the environment, right? So the changes in the environment would be what the organisms are surviving. The ones that are most suited, they will survive the change in the environment. So let us look at our species one more time. All right, so the changing environment that we will be using in this example is the exposure of antibiotics. Remember that bacteria are killed by antibiotics. So let's see what will happen with our species right here. That one is gone, that one is dead, and that one is gone, right? So point number 2 says those organisms that are most suited, right? They will survive. They will survive what? The change in the environment, right? So this one or these types will be able to survive the change in the environment, the exposure to antibiotics because they are antibiotic resistant. All right, next point. They reproduce and pass on advantageous genes or alleles to their offspring. Who are the they that we're talking about? We're talking about these types that were able to survive the change in the environment. They will reproduce and pass on their advantageous gene or the mutation to their offspring. All right, so this is what the offspring or the new species will look like. They will all have that mutation. They will all be resistant to antibiotics. So if you were to get a question like this, students, obviously you will not be drawing out all of these things. These are the points that you're writing. Variation exists between the organisms within a species. This is most likely as a result of mutation. Point number 2, those organisms that are most suited survive. They reproduce and pass on advantageous genes or alleles to their offspring. That is how natural selection occurs. You should understand this, everybody. All right? Thank you so much for watching and all the best in your exams. Bye bye.